All right, guys, welcome back to Fan Talk. Today we're going to be talking about Hobbs and Shaw. I was actually supposed to go watch it this weekend at the drive-in, and some stuff came up I didn't get to go. But you did get to see it. So,
Yeah, I did.
How was it?
It was. I was thoroughly entertained. Obviously, this is kind of the last big action movie of the summer, and it delivers. It is the pinnacle of not pinnacle, but is the definition of the action summer blockbuster popcorn movie. And it does not pretend to be anything else. It has really no pretensions. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's what's good about it. Otherwise, it'd be like, 2 hours, 15 minutes. It doesn't have like that slog of like, it's going to teach me about this now, and we're going to, hit me up on global warming or, all these different things. This just has fun with itself. It doesn't try to be preachy or anything else, which is great.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take itself too seriously like the Transformers series, which are the same basic types of movies, just the over-the-top action, but without all the, this is so serious.
Yeah.
So it was definitely enjoyable on that note. Obviously starring Dwayne Johnson, a.k.a. The Rock, and Jason Statham, two action movie favorites. Putting their two characters up together, along with Vanessa Kirby, is kind of a three-pack of heroes in this movie. Taking on Idris Elba, who is, in his own words in the movie, Black Superman.
Black Superman.
And everyone plays their parts well. It's very well cast. There's very good charisma between everyone. No one steals the spotlight or overdoes it or goes campy or anything else beyond the confines of the movie needs them to be.
I was going to be like, seriously, it's not too campy.
No, within the world of this, it's just right. Everything is just right on par. It is obviously a spin-off of the Fast and the Furious. It's actually titled Fast and the Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, like, some Masterpiece Theater, like, here's a story in our universe. It definitely does not have the street racing that the earlier Fast and Furious movies had. This is more in line with the last second half of the Fast and Furious franchise on just over-the-top action, saving the world. It comes across a bit more like a Mission Impossible or one of those kinds is kind of big stakes and just kind of high-octane fun. There are car races and street races in it, but it's definitely not a street racing movie. It's just the set pieces involve those for the action.
Yeah.
Vanessa Kirby was actually really enjoyable in this role. She's previously in the last Mission Impossible movie. In this one, she plays Jason Statham's character's sister. Mm-hmm. She's a MI6 agent. By the way, spoilers if anyone cares.
Spoilers.
Not like there's a whole lot to spoil in this movie because it's a typical action movie. You got the heroes taking on the bad guys. There's no surprises as far as what the outcome is. I won't go into the plot details, but spoilers in case anything does surprise you. Go on and watch it and then come back. Vanessa Kirby's character, I really enjoyed the fact that she handled herself well. The character handled herself well in the movie. She got herself out of all of her own predicaments. She was never the damsel in distress.
Yeah.
And she carried herself well with the big boys. She even went one-on-one with The Rock in a scene, and it's the way it played out. Neither one of them looked bad.
Yeah.
And it also didn't look ridiculously one side or the other either.
Yeah.
It was very well done. I'm glad they did that. This is a very diverse cast, kind of like how the Fast and Furious franchise has become, and this played well into that. This is a spin-off of the Fast and the Furious. Obviously, The Rock's character Hobbs has been in the series since number 5. We don't think he'll be in any more due to probably not enough space of egos and the set for everyone involved. And I'm not putting any blame on that one. I think that one goes all around for not just the two main characters either. I mean, for everyone. I think that just is probably best to spin it off and for Universal to try and divide out its assets by creating a second franchise that everyone's going to love.
Yeah.
But he's obviously been in the last 4 of them. Jason Statham's character, Deckard Shaw, has been in a couple of the movies now. Once as a antagonist, as a bad guy, and then more recently in Fate of the Furious as a reluctant kind of helper to the heroes. And they saw the chemistry, or you could see the chemistry in number 8 between and I say chemistry is in like, not like a romantic, but it's an on-screen chemistry.
How well they work together.
And they have good banter. They just bounce off each other well. And so it made sense to peel them off and put them in their own movie. There was a reference in this movie to Fast and the Furious fans about kind kind of one of the biggest issues that the fans have with the whole series. And I've read into it, and they're going to be getting back to that and trying to resolve that in future movies. I don't know if that's going to be a Hobbs and Shaw 2 or they're going to address it in Fast 9, but that is the issue of Han's death. Han was and I know you haven't seen as many of these, so I'm gonna...
No, I actually know about this.
Okay.
So yeah,
I was like, Statham apparently killed Han in an earlier movie. Han was a central character of the core group. You know, they're all family and Coronas. And then he's now coming on as kind of like a ally. So it's like, has everyone forgotten that in fact he killed Han? And so they said they're circling around to trying to address that and kind of give Han a fitting end with that whole arc as well. So maybe they'll time heist it and go back and fix it.
Time heist. Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, I'll say that I'm not as big a fan of the whole series of films. I haven't seen all of them, obviously. The first Fast and the Furious films I really did enjoy. There's nothing not to enjoy about them. And I went back and watched some of the other ones. You were telling me, hey, you really should go back and watch these. And for an action movie fan, there's a lot of fun there. There is. It's just... with anything, it's really weird. I can watch a movie like, say, John Wick, and where it's realistic, but it's not. It's a little over the top. But I can still, for some reason, I can grasp it, and I'd be like, yeah, I can get that. But then whenever I'm watching the previews for this movie, and they're like throwing chains around helicopters, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, no. Rip your freaking arm off, buddy. I
tried to defend that one in the trailer, saying, look, the chain is attached to the car. He's just hanging on to it.
No,
I can't defend it after seeing the movie.
Right?
But it's fine. It's fine.
No, I mean, it's like, no, I'm just saying your arm would be gone. But I get it. Like anything, you can pick any movie apart, and it's just about going and enjoying a film.
And that's not the only physics problem.
Yeah, and watching it and having a good time. And it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to go watch it.
So, fans, okay, so if you're wanting to know if you should go see this, if you like the Rock movies, you're going to probably like it. If you like seeing him in movies, you're going to like it. Same thing with Jason Statham. If you like him a lot, you're going to like it. If you are a fan of just big action movies, you're going to like it. If you like the Fast and the Furious movies, you're going to like it. If you thought, nah, on any of those, maybe check it out another way or give it a skip. But if you like any of those kind of things I listed, you'll probably like it. As far as things that, if you've never seen a Fast and the Furious movie and you really do want to go see it for whatever reason, but you're worried about if you need some kind of backstory or need to know what there is to go into the movie and kind of not be lost, there's not a whole lot. Other than the fact that Hobbs is not exactly a policeman, but lawman, and Shaw is a former special forces turned kind of does whatever he wants to, vigilante, sometimes good, sometimes bad, and they've worked together before, but not very well, and yeah, that's all you really need to know.
Yeah. All right.
It's not a huge universe on their stories that needs a whole lot of catching up. They've kind of just been in these movies rather than giving a huge, you don't know their whole life story having watched the other movies.
Yeah.
So the box office on this, it's opening up right on expectations. A little lighter for on the Fast and Furious, but that's not knocking it at all. It's a spin-off / sequel style. And it's still doing better than, it's actually the best movie and opening weekend for The Rock, absent the Fast and the Furious. So it's doing well, and it's going to continue making money. I think all eyes are going to see how it legs out over the rest of the month, and also opens in China towards the end of the month, which historically have been very
They do
good.
well there.
Yeah, they do well there.
But the question will be, will it do as well there without all the cars and the racing? That's kind of one of the reasons, links to why it does so well there. So
true, but even China likes Jason Statham. He was the lead in The Meg last year, which did very well in China. So they know him.
Yeah. So we'll see how it works out.
Yeah. And we'll keep reporting on those numbers as they come in over the coming weeks. But until then, hope you guys enjoy the movie if you go and see it, and let us know what you thought.
And don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to leave comments and let us know anything you'd like us to chat about. Thanks again for tuning in.